Kristen. I live at 24 Franklin Street, and I'm the chairperson of the Shade Tree Commission. I can honestly say that I don't think you have a more passionate group of people dedicated to saving trees than on your current commission. And so our decision to take down every ash tree in this town was met with a very heavy heart. However, it was also met with great education. Every single member of the Shade Tree Commission has had an emerald ash borer education or training. And I have had one every year for the past 5 years. Some things have changed in these past 5 years. In my first year, we were instructed that we would need to treat an ash tree only once to protect it against the emerald ash borer. In my second year of training, we were told the tree would need to be treated up to 3 times over a period of years to save it from the emerald ash borer. In my third year of training, the numbers went up exponentially. It was discovered that a tree, an ash tree, needs to be treated for the entirety of its life to possibly save it from the emerald ash borer. So then we get to the chemicals. I have a sheet here with some information on the chemicals and some links that you can look at. I want to remind everybody that chemical companies are in the business of selling chemicals. The chemical that this gentleman is speaking of, the benzoate, by the way, this gentleman never came to the Shade Tree Commission, so that's a little disquieting on my part. But that chemical, when you open up its page, is corrosive, acute toxicity, irritant, health hazard, environmental hazard. Now, the companies are telling us that we're going to inject this into the tree and it's not going to infect our environment. Everybody must remember that a tree does not grow in a vacuum. The roots of a tree go into the earth and they search for water. So anything that's running up and down the tree is going to go into our earth and into our water. Now, the chemical also goes up to the top of the tree where the leaves are. And when the leaves fall, they have the chemical in their leaf system. And we're told that if they fall on the ground in the most perfect of situations, they won't be toxic. And the perfect situation is direct sunlight. Can we guarantee that when these leaves fall, they will fall in direct sunlight and not on the water? Because the other thing about this chemical is it is not to be used around water, bees, or flowers. The 3 trees that we are talking about are right on a freshwater pond. Freshwater invertebrate and fish are the most deeply negatively affected by this chemical. So, considering the sizes of these trees, how much chemicals have to be pumped into them, and for how many years they will need to be pumped into them to possibly save them, the Shade Tree Commission felt that the environmental negative impact would far outweigh the desire to save a tree. Our children play in these parks, our animals walk through these parks, there are other insects that go through these parks. We don't know what will happen. And there's one thing that has not changed in the 5 years I've been going to the trainings, is that at the end of every one of these sessions, with whether there are 30 or 300 people there, I raise my hand and I ask this question: what is the long-term effect of using these chemicals in our environment? And the answer for the past 5 years has been the same: we don't know. We haven't been using these chemicals long enough to know what will happen in 30 years. So when we hear from our scientists that if the human race does not change their behaviors this year, in 30 years, we may not be here. I don't see how we are having this conversation. I don't understand it. But I just wanted to come forward and let you know why we made the decisions we made. And that these so-called experts have never come to our commission to talk to us, ever. And we were never told that these things were going to happen by a Morris Township resident. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.